What's up, y'all? This is my video dedicated to my second week in truck driving school. It was my wake-up call, or something that pretty much reminded me of my military service. Is when we got back into the truck. When I got back into the truck, most of the other people that was in my group have never driven a big truck like that, and it shows, I can say that much. It was our first week in the truck. And man, it was scary to be back behind a big wheel like that and making big moves. I really like the instructors at Mott College. While some people are thin-skinned, it didn't bother me at all. It actually reminded me of conversations that I would have with my friends in the military. Now, granted, my instructor is ex-military. And if you watch this video and you are ex-military or in the military, thank you for your service. But yeah, so my instructor is also ex-military. We just clicked. He's an older gentleman, maybe in his early 60s, but he's a really cool dude. And he has a specific way of teaching, and it's sort of stern. It's not hard or mean or anything, but he is stern. And whenever he says something, I mean, he means it. But we're driving, and I think there was one guy that was driving in front of me. And if you ever go to Mott College and you hear him say this, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. I'm not gonna say his name because I don't want people to go there and be like, oh, I want him, or he sounds like a really good guy, because I'm sure that the other instructors are really cool and really good, because I've met them too and have talked with them. They're real personable and they seem really cool, and everybody else tells me how they like them, and I like the instructor who I work with. But so we're driving, or the first guy is riding, and I feel completely unsafe. Now, it's because I haven't driven in trucks in a while, and this guy has never driven. So we're pulling up to it. He's telling us where to go and whatever, because on our first week, we started driving, and I was scared because I'm like, these guys don't even know how to really get out of the parking lot. We just got into the truck. Now, granted, we did all of our checks. We did everything we're supposed to do with the vehicle, but I guess if people didn't already know, that's how they do it. So we pulled out. We went on to a main, I don't know if that was an interstate or what. I'm just gonna say it was a main street. But so we're driving, and we come up to a left turn, but we got to stop at a stoplight. And so the guy is like, he's like, all right, we're gonna slow down, slow down, slow down. And so, cause we're about to hit somebody, and this dude is not listening, just not listening. And granted, the pedals and the gas, if you've never driven in it, it's not like easy. It's not a young truck either, but it's not like just a light tap will make you stop. And even if it is, you still gotta slightly push it and then increase the pressure, but because it will slam. And so we definitely slammed when he hit the brakes hard. Man, if I wasn't wearing a seatbelt, if you never seen somebody fold a sandwich or fold a lawn chair, then you wouldn't know what I'm talking about, because I got folded like a lawn chair. And I was like, damn, man, good thing I was wearing this. And he pushed that into our heads before we even started driving. He must have already knew that people was gonna be sucking, because man, that thing just about split me in half. I was so scared from that point on. My booty was clenched. From that point on, I'm sitting at least 2 inches taller now, and I'm watching. I was talking with the other guy that was in the back with me. Now we're both looking like, okay, I want to know. So this one guy, he didn't listen to most of the turns and the twists. I was taking pointers. I'm like, okay, I'm suggesting that you guys do the same thing, but I'm like, hey, I'm not doing that, because that shit, it hurt me. I don't want to do that again to somebody else. That looks scary, that feels scary, and I don't want to look stupid. So we're taking turns, and he's not taking wide enough turns to where it almost appears like we're gonna hit people. Some people had to back up, which will cause you to fail test whenever it comes test time. So we're riding out, and so we went to this one, I'm gonna call it like an executive area where there's only like businesses, and we went around the block like 3 or 4 times. You know what? I gotta back up because we didn't drive to there. He drove us to there, and then he drove us. I'm thinking about that after we got back on the road, but he drove us to this executive park for our first time, and then we drove around the 4 blocks. So you have to excuse me. I'm gonna have to reverse that. But so we drove to. He drove us to this executive park, and then we drove around the block a few times. So the first guy, he's trying to go around these different curves. He's slamming on the brake every time, at every stop sign. He's like, all right, so what we're gonna first do, slow down, because the dude is still going out into the street. He's like, slow down, stop, just stop the truck. And then he's like, whenever I say slow down and stop, you're gonna have to continue to slow down. Whenever I say continue to slow down, it's because you're getting ready to stop. I want you to slow down. You're not slowing down. And the dude just looked at him like a deer in headlights, like, do you understand? I'm back there like, come on, man. And so he didn't stop slamming on brakes. He was actually hitting it pretty hard the whole time. And but I think around like the 4th time around the block, he seemingly started to get it. And then it was my turn. Man, I got behind that truck. I adjusted myself, made sure my mirrors were adjusted to me. I was looking all around like, okay, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do what he was doing. So I started driving. I'm cruising. I'm avoiding all the different things that he told him to do. At least I was hoping to, or trying to. So I'm driving, and I started trying to brake ahead of time because I was like, let me try to figure out these brakes. Man, did I slam on brakes. I didn't think just pressing it like I was would make me slam on brakes, but it did, and it was hard, and I looked around like, tap, tap, tap on my leg like, shit, dang it. But yeah, so I was back there talking trash in my head like, this dude, how can he keep slamming on brakes like that? But I mean, after I went around the block once, I got used to the brakes. I started adjusting in my head, okay, let's try to figure out the perfect push to get these brakes to where I'm not slamming into something or slamming on the brakes and making them go back. Because this instructor kept, every time we hit the brakes hard, he'll be like, easy, easy. Come on, easy, man, easy on the brakes. And I'm like, all right, man, I got you. I'll fix it. And so by the second time coming around, I did, I was easier on the brakes per se. I had to take off that leather coat. I'm sitting in the sun. Although it is cold outside, I can't do it. But yeah, so I drove around about my 3rd or 4th time around. I was comfortable. And now the other guy, once we both started looking good enough to actually drive on the road, which is what I liked, because everybody else said they just got on the road, and I'm glad that we didn't. He took us to the executive park, which I had to change that from earlier. He took us to the executive park, and we drove around that, and then he was like, all right, so I'm gonna take you out on the road. Make sure you're easy on the brakes, and make sure you're making wide enough turns, or not too wide of turns, which I had problems with my whole first week. So we're driving. Now this is just the first day. We're driving out of the area. I'm riding, he's driving. and he's get out there, he makes the turn good, and we got to go on a public road. And man, like I was saying, I was sitting 2 to 3 inches higher. And man, talk about slamming on brakes, not doing complete stops, not making turns. Man, we didn't know, well, they didn't know what we were getting into. I assumed because of what happened in the military. But when it came my turn, it was cruising. I did pretty good. I was excited because he wasn't yelling at me. He wasn't on me. Like, come on, man, you got to do this, man. You got to make sure you're doing it right. Now, granted, I may be exaggerating with the way that he's talking, but that's the way I heard it. And man, sorry, I got to put myself in the video. I noticed I was getting cut off. But yeah, so we were driving, both of us got better, and then we got another guy who finally got his physical in and his permit. So he came on the truck. This is at the middle of the first day, and so it was his turn. So we went back to the executive park. He drove around, man, like 7 times. Like that was I thought the first guy was bad, and I'm not trying to talk bad about anybody, but man, at no time did I feel safe and be like, oh, okay, now he's getting better. Now, granted, there were, like I could say, throughout that second week, like there were instances where I was like, okay, he's better now, he gets it. But man, I was like, damn, or dang. I was like, dang. Gotta clean up that language. But man, it was crazy. So we went around that like 7 or 8 times. Usually it was only like maybe 3, max 4. But I guess the instructor was like, hey, you need more and more practice. But so we drove around and did some parking. We went onto the highway. We went into the city. We went driving in a lot of different areas. And I really liked it because it gave us a lot of experience that I wanted, especially within the truck. And so, yeah, we did that for the next couple days. And I could say within my group, because there was 12 of us and there was 3 different groups, so 4 to a different truck. Like, not 4 people all the time with the instructor would be included, the 4. But yeah, so I would say throughout that time, 2 out of 3 of us were doing fine with the driving. One, the instructor, it was his first day. Like, cause you can't hit the brakes hard. Especially whenever you become a truck driver. And now I'm not a truck driver yet, but I already know that's a fact. You can't be hitting the brakes hard because you're gonna cause the truck to skid. You're gonna cause it to jackknife. You're gonna cause a lot of different issues. So yeah, he wasn't getting it. And I felt bad for him, and I tried to pull him to the side often, and we talked. I'm like, hey man, we gotta do this, we gotta do that. And I've been encouraging him throughout that time. But yeah, so the second week, just I guess a overall or overview, is filled with driving in different areas or different environments. Driving in the city, driving on back roads, driving on the interstate, driving on the highway, and what to do and not do on and off ramps, what to do and not to do, making turns, and things like that. So that's what you can expect, I hope, in most schools, because it was a progressive thing. I've heard others say that they just got onto the street with no like initial training, which I'm glad that my instructor did take us over there and do that for us, to where he can make sure that we're able to be on the highway, so we're not running things over or running people over, which I don't think would have been a good look to start off with. But yeah, guys, that's my second week. Hopefully you enjoyed. I'm gonna start on my third week next. Peace.